Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience this morning dealing with our technical issues. We had some problems connecting and again, just fully connected onto the system here, but we're live, ready to go. Brandon, I'll let you take over your presentation and going forward with our corrosion. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to join us in our discussion on Olympus's corrosion mapping solutions. My name is Brandon Wright. I'm a senior applications engineer based out of our Houston, Texas office. We're going to get started with a short video demonstration on our Hydroform coupled to the Map Rover scanner, which is a great option for scanning piping from 4-inch OD all the way to flat plate, as well as our FlexoFORM scanner, which utilizes the Olympus flexible phased array probe for scanning elbows and longitudinally down pipe from 4-inch OD to flat as well. After the short video, I'll move on to a live demonstration of corrosion mapping data analysis on OmniPC and WeldSite software. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat and we can address those at the end of the presentation. I'll get started on our video. Now that we've collected our data and showed you a demonstration of the uses of those two scanners, let's take a look at the data files we collected with the Hydroform and Map Rover in OmniPC. OmniPC is a free X3 analysis tool available for download from our website. No software key or license is required to utilize the new OmniPC 5. We will then move on to our advanced analysis software, WeldSite. WeldSite software is a successor to TomoView and is utilized for advanced analysis of weld and corrosion mapping data from the X3. WeldSite provides some great tools for those looking to dive a little further into X3 data analysis. OmniPC has the ability to do soft gate gain adjustment as well as adjustment of the thickness color palette. We can use some shortcuts like holding down the control key, clicking and dragging to zoom in on an area. We can manipulate the color palette to help find the lowest reading. As well as the ability to adjust our color palette. OmniPC gives us all the same typical readouts from the OmniScan. So we'll click on one of our low readings here. We can get the amplitude, the thickness of that specific reading. So for this example, we're at 5.24 millimeters, where the nominal wall thickness is right at about 10 millimeters. With our readings here, we can get our minimum thickness reading based on our cursor position. So by hitting Shift left click and Shift right click to draw a zone around the area of interest, within our cursors, our lowest reading is 2.5 millimeters. And our scan and index axis position is referenced here in ST-min-Z and IT-min-Z. So if I type in my scan axis location, 251 millimeters, and my index axis location, 171 millimeters, we can find our lowest reading within the zone defined by the cursors. If we'd like, we can zoom in closer on that area, use our Shift left click to set our reference cursor, Shift right click to set our measure cursor, and from the OmniPC tab, we can add that indication to the indication table, and we can manipulate through our data and do that for each area that we're interested in reporting. So in our indication table, we'll get a screenshot of the image as well as all the readings, indicating our SM-R, which will be our scan axis, measure minus reference cursor, showing a length of 3.3 millimeters and a width of 3.1 millimeters, as well as the thickness reading of 2.53 millimeters. We can zoom out of that area and allow us to go through and check all the other readings, report on what we'd like. If, say there, for an example, we would like to detect anything that's 2 millimeters or under, it'll manipulate that color palette to allow for quick and easy analysis that way. WeldSite, on the other hand, has some more advanced features for the corrosion mapping analysis. I'm going to move over to our WeldSite program. This example is from the data collected with the FlexoFORM on the OmniScan X3. So you can see that you have the extra dose of the elbow, or the longer scan length, and it gets smaller as we get to the intradose. In WeldSite, we have our different views, our D-scan or end view and our B-scan and side view. A great feature within WeldSite is our snap to peak. By utilizing the cross here, either in the corrosion tab here or on the left control panel, it'll snap to the lowest point within the zone, the full window. So the snap to peak has three different options. It can either work with the cursors, the zoom, or the entire window. So if we zoom on a specific area of interest, we can utilize the snap function, and it will go to the lowest reading defined by the zoom area, as well as our cursors. So if we have an area, we can set our measure cursor and reference cursor and utilize the snap to snap within the zone defined by the cursors. If we zoom in on an area, select our reading. So if there's any false reading, say you lost couplant, you might have run over a rough part of the surface.
You have to rely has the features for my benefit, right? You said this thing.
We can set our cursors around an area. Say this is a false reading, maybe it's an air bubble within the water column, anything like that. We can edit the area and erase that area from our C-scan. We also have the option to edit the thickness reading. So if there was a loss of coupling or an area that the data didn't present the indication well, we can go in, maybe manually prove it up, whether it's with a hydroform or a thickness gauge. And we can edit that area and say this area was actually 10 millimeters, edit area, and now that area is redefined as 10 millimeters. Or we can add it as a lower reading, and you can visualize that by the color palette. I'm going to clear out that and show you our cluster analysis tool. So the cluster analysis will automatically pull the finished readings based on what we have set. So if we wanted to pull readings that were 20% material loss or greater and a minimum scan and index size of 1 millimeter, we can run that and all the indications will be added to the indication table and highlighted on the C-scan. So we can export this table and report on just flaws that are material loss 20% or greater. As we click on the indication, it will automatically pull our data cursor to that specific area. So you can see there are some other indications that were not pulled in the cluster analysis, just because those readings are not 20% material loss or greater. So if we, for example, do a 5% material loss, we can run it, and that will pull all of our indications automatically from our C-scan and allow us to go through and verify those. So if we click on a reading and we determine that it is indeed a false reading, we can delete those out of our indication table just by highlighting it, selecting the delete key, and we no longer see that on our indication table or highlighted in our C-scan. So just some other tools to help quickly analyze data. WeldSite definitely helps with that. OmniPC, the free tool, is something we have to kind of manually go through, add indications to our table, not having the abilities to edit or replace indications, as well as having that nice cluster analysis tool for really quick analysis and reporting. So that's a basic overview of our corrosion analysis tools, as well as our scanners and other solutions. We do have some other solutions available depending on the specific application. Something pretty widely used would be our DLA corrosion probe. Another one that can also be used on our map rover scanner, where you saw the Hydroform being used. But that's a basic overview. Does anybody have any questions, any specific applications or questions on the software or maybe the instrumentation or scanners? Move back over to our chat. Hi, Michael. Good question. So the corrosion mapping feature in WeldSite is released. It's not on a release on our website. It's still in constant development, but it is functional for corrosion analysis. So if you do have a copy of WeldSite, you can get with myself or one of your local reps, and we can get you over a software version that does have that corrosion mapping feature unlocked. It is included with any software license for WeldSite. There's no additional fee or additional software required. So the weld and corrosion is all tied under one license. Do we have any more questions?
If there's no more questions, then I just want to thank you, everybody, for your time today. Once again, we apologize for the technical issues that we had. We're brand new to using this program for presenting, so we had a couple hiccups, but thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any further questions later on, feel free to reach out to anyone at Olympus, and we can assist you from there.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.